Boomer's Brain Trust is the website, and speaking of that, a reminder, you can watch us live on boomersbraintrust.com and on TV in cities all across this great land of ours on where, Dinah? Biz TV, right?
Absolutely. Oh, you're so clever like that.
Aren't I, though?
Biz TV is the home for your business, and that's whether you're an entrepreneur, small business owner, maybe you're just managing your family's assets, Biz TV can help. And Biz TV is growing all the time. We are now on in
New York.
Very good.
Philadelphia.
Look at you go.
And without even looking, Orlando.
Wow, you are amazing. Biz TV, it's your biz.
Yeah, we thank them, by the way. They're wonderful people. They've been with us for many, many years now, and we do thank them. It's great. Growing all the time, as we said. So boomers are, just as I was running, we were talking a little bit about boomers earlier and the labor force. One of the things that we have found is that boomers, as they get older, obviously with the downturn in the economy, the number of people finding work, they're dropping out of the labor force in rather large numbers. That's what they were saying. That this actually came from, I think, the government. The share of Americans in the labor force, that's known as the participation rate. It's at a 4-decade low. Discouraged job seekers are giving up looking for work. Apparently, if you're over 55, and this is true, we could see this, even maybe people who are hiring, they're just kind of saying thanks but no thanks.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is, and we have seen this. We know this as a stat. The workers 55 and older are projected to make up 25% of the labor force in 2022 versus 20.9% last year in 2013. Now, some 44% of older Americans stop looking for work a year into their job hunt. 1 year, and I think we're talking more about age 60. People who are, I guess, let go, downsized, or whatever, age 60. And it's interesting how this is happening. When I mentioned this particular stat, a lot of them are turning toward their own business.
I wondered about that because I can't see people just saying, I'm done. I'm 55, I'm done. I think a lot of people are actually interested in being their own boss for a while.
What happens when you get up to that age, and again, I'm speaking specifically of boomers because this is where we are. They've said, look, I've worked for somebody else for the last 40 years, something like that, and I would prefer maybe to become my own boss. So you get that you get that bug in the back of your head, and yet you're a little bit concerned that maybe you don't know how to do it. Because it's frightening.
Yeah.
It actually is frightening. And really, no matter how old you are, no matter what generation you belong to, we know that changing careers or going at it alone it can be rewarding, but it's also scary. Now, maybe you do have the dream to become your own boss, but you're not sure about it because you're afraid that you're not going to succeed. Now, you can actually succeed. There are ways to do it. Michelle Seiler-Tucker is the founding partner of Capital Business Consultants franchise, and she's got some good advice for people who want to become a business owner. Hey, Michelle, welcome to the program. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, sure. So now it's we'll get right to it because we don't have a lot of time, but it's one thing to start a business when you're young and you don't know what you're doing. You don't know that you don't know what you're doing. But it's another thing entirely for someone in the boomer generation to suddenly change gears and make the leap into self-employment. What advice would you give to a person who's afraid to take the big leap and become a business owner?
Well, I think first and foremost, you have to identify your why. Why do you want to be a business owner in the first place? And if you don't have a good enough reason to help you pull that trigger, in most cases you're probably not going to pull the trigger and become a business owner. So first you have to identify why do you want to own a business. And then second, you need to really hire an expert in that industry that can help you navigate the process.
So, Michelle, if somebody decides they're going to do this, do you think it's easier for them to buy a business which is already established, or is it better to start from scratch and just build one from the ground up?
It's absolutely easier and a lot more cost-effective to buy an existing business. 85 to 95% of all new businesses will fail in the first couple of years, and most of them operate in the red in the first 5 years. When you buy an existing business, you're buying history, you're buying a track record, you're buying client base, employees in place, and you're buying cash flow.
Do you see, though, that more people tend to want to just start their own business out of the garage, especially, again, and I'm talking more about older workers. Does that happen more often than buying established businesses?
Well, not really. I mean, most people these days, I think, understand that buying cash flow, I mean, most of my buyers are wanting to buy cash flow. They're not necessarily industry specific. they're cash flow specific. So most people these days are buying businesses. Some are starting businesses. You know, if you're going to start a business in your garage, that's much better than going out and getting a brick and mortar location, because so many people are going out of business, not because they have a bad business plan or they don't have a good marketing plan, but they simply run out of money.
So if somebody decides they do want to become their own boss, but they have no idea what business to go into, do they want to own something, they want to let others run it? How does a person choose what kind of business they're going to buy?
Like I said, the best thing to do is hire an expert that sells businesses, that they can help you navigate throughout the process and get to know you on an individual basis, to know what your strengths are. I mean, I really sit down with my buyers to identify their strengths, their weaknesses, their passions, their skill sets. You know, who else will be involved in a business with them, to determine what's the best business with them. I just helped a 60-year-old lady leave her 30-year-old position, and she bought a flooring company. She never thought in a million years she would own a flooring company.
Wow.
But she's in love with it now. And she's making more money. I help her invest. She was making $100,000 a year, being her job for 30 years. Now, $100,000 a year is a lot of money, but not after 30 years of commitment. She invested $300,000 in $1 million business, and now she's making over $295,000 a year.
So obviously there's some intangible factors that play a role in success or failure, not necessarily having to know how to do it, right?
Correct. I mean, the great thing about business ownership is you're already buying the systems. You're already buying the foundation. You have employees in place. You have a management team. You already have everything is operational. So if you try to start from scratch, it's much more risky to start from scratch than buying an existing business.
I got just a minute left. You got a book or two with some advice on this subject. Just give us the gist of those.
Well, I have a book called Sell Your Business for More Than It's Worth on the sales side for my business owners that I help. I am working on my next book called Quit Your Job, Buy a Business. But everybody can go visit me at betterbusinessbrokers.com. That's betterbusinessbrokers.com. And we are working on a new website for buyers as well.
All right.
It's called Buy a Business USA.
Buy a Business. I've always been interested in this kind of a thing. Michelle Seiler-Tucker, hey, thanks very much for being with us for a few minutes. I appreciate it quite a bit. Yeah, boomers, and I've thought about this too. I haven't done it, but, we're working for the man for 30, 40 years, and all of a sudden you say, I've had this passion for a long time. And then the question is, do I pursue my passion started in my garage, or what Michelle says, buy an established business? I mean, it's scary.
I've heard them referred to as jobbies. They're
Jobbies.
Job and hobbies you can put together, do what you really love.
Look at this. It's like selfie. I just learned what a selfie was like 3 months ago. Now I got jobbies. Wow. Okay, well, hang on for more. We got the professor. Stick around. Coming right back. Another hour of this and whatever.